Your testing is ruining your analytics. When you use the same Google Analytics measurement ID across all environments, you're polluting your production data. Every time a developer hits refresh, every time a QA simulates a login, you're inflating your metrics, and this leads to bad decision making. In this video, I'm going to show you how to keep your Google Analytics clean by using environment-specific configurations. We'll do that using the options pattern. The options pattern is a must-know pattern for any serious .NET developer. So setting up Google Analytics, pretty straightforward. You log into the portal, you create a property, it will give you some script tags. You put them on every page of your site, job done. Or is it? Whether it's a side project or you work for a huge company, you will have multiple environments. As a minimum, you're going to have two. You're going to have your production environment, the server that you actually deploy your website to, the one that users access. And then you're going to have your local dev environment, the machine you actually write code on. Most likely, especially if you work for a large company, you'll have some test environments in between local dev and production. These could be staging, integration, UAT, performance. What they're there for isn't key. What matters is that they exist and real users are not using them. Now, if every one of these non-production environments is connected to the same Google Analytics property, you're mixing dev and test data with real customer data. Mixing production and non-production data leads to bad decisions. It skews your conversion rates, it breaks A/B tests, and it skews all of your engagement metrics. Fortunately, the fix is simple. For each one of our environments, we just set up an environment-specific Google Analytics property. And then in each environment, we just transmit to the environment-specific Google Analytics property. To achieve this, we just need to go into the portal and create a property for each of our environments. We'll set up environment-specific analytics configs. Each environment will get its own measurement ID. We'll manage these configurations using the options pattern. Put simply, the options pattern is just a way to take sections of your appsettings.json and convert them into strictly typed C# classes. It's clean, it's testable, it avoids magic strings. Then we'll add the Google Analytics tags to all of the pages of our site, and we'll pull in the correct Google Analytics measurement ID depending on the environment the app is running in. First, we need to set up our Google Analytics properties. The first one we'll set up is our production property. Just follow the wizard at the end, it will give you a custom tag. Make a copy of these and note the measurement ID. We'll use them later. So for my site, gamingseeds.com, I just have three environments. I have my local dev, I have a test environment, and I have production. So I'll create a property for each one of these environments. You may have more environments than this, you may have different environments. The key thing here is that you create a Google Analytics property for each of the environments that you have in your setup. For each one of our environments, we'll have an appsettings.json file. So I'm going to have a appsettings.development.json file, an appsettings.test.json file, and an appsettings.production.json file. The root appsettings.json file contains our default values, and then the environment-specific appsettings comes in and overrides the values. So let's start with our base appsettings.json file. We will add a section called Google Analytics, and within that section we will have a measurement ID. Then we repeat this for each of our environment-specific app settings, but this time use the real measurement ID for the Google Analytics property that you set up for that environment. Now let's create a Google Analytics options class. This class is going to be a strongly typed representation of that section in our app settings. So we'll add a measurement ID property. What we can also do here is have this class store the section name for the app settings section that this class corresponds to. Now let's register that class in our program.cs file. We'll do that using builder.services.configure. Now this method requires a type, so we'll pass in our Google Analytics options as the type. And then this method needs the section that we are configuring. We can get the section by calling builder.configuration.getSection, and then getSection requires a section name. Our options knows its own section name, so we can just call Google Analytics options.section name. Now let's add the Google Analytics tags to every page of our site. We can do that just by modifying our layout file. First, let's just paste the scripts that Google provided us verbatim. We want to do this just immediately after the opening head tag. The measurement ID used in these tags are currently hard-coded. We want these measurement IDs to be dynamically replaced based on the measurement ID we have stored in our app settings for the environment that the app is running in. To do that, we need to inject our options class. We can do that by calling @inject IOptions, and the type is going to be our options class, so Google Analytics options. Now let's modify those tags to use the options we just injected. We do that using the @ and Google Analytics options.value.measurement ID. Okay, so that's us set up. Let's test it. Let's run the solution. And now if we check our page source, we'll see our Google Analytics tags and that it's using the development Google Analytics measurement ID. Locally, we can simulate the app running in different environments. We do that by changing our ASP net core environment variable. This variable controls which of our app settings is used. We can change that environment variable in our launch-settings.json. Let's simulate the app running in our test environment. Now when we run the app, we see that the Google tag is using our test environment measurement ID. Just be mindful when you do this. If you're using your production settings locally, your local activities will appear in your production Google Analytics. Something we can do to mitigate that a little bit is we can make it easy to enable or disable our Google Analytics on a per environment basis. To do that, we'll add an enabled property into our appsettings.json. Let's say in dev, we'll have it as disabled, and then in test and production, we'll have it enabled. We'll have to update our options class to also have an enabled property. And then in our layout, we can simply wrap our Google tags in a if statement. So we can say if Google Analytics options.value.enabled, and let's be extra safe here, and our measurement ID is not null, empty, or white space, then show our Google Analytics tags. Now we can easily enable or disable our Google Analytics on a per environment basis. Okay, and that's it. Just like that, no more test or dev traffic muddying your Google Analytics data. A bit of config, a few lines of code, and your analytics is a reliable reflection of what your real customers are doing. The next thing you're going to want to do is deploy your changes. So go check out my video on how to automatically deploy to Azure using GitHub Actions. Today, you've seen me set this up for my site, gamingseeds.com. Gamingseeds.com is a site where players can come and share and vote on world seeds for games such as Minecraft and Civ. If that interests you, go check it out. I've been Terry Mace, you've been watching Mace Labs. If this video has helped you, then hit like and subscribe. There's plenty more .NET content on the way.